So what's Caddo? Tell me a little bit more.
So Caddo Office Reimagine, and thank you for pronouncing it correctly.
Absolutely.
A lot of people call it different things, but Caddo is basically a place to work that's near your home, but not at your home. So we are really a solution for small business owners who are looking to get outside of that home office environment, get into something that's a lot more professional, a lot more private, and something that has a little bit of community to it, so that entrepreneurs like to learn from one another and share stories and vendors and things like that. And so that's what Caddo provides. We're in North Texas. We have 9 locations, and so we are really focused on serving the small business owner in the North Texas market.
You're definitely not, from what I understand, you're not for the bigger organization. You focus on like the small businesses, is that right?
Yeah, so we like to really focus on, there's 17.5 million businesses in the US that are 50 people or less. And so that is like a huge market. We really were focused on, is the building in good shape? Is the roof leaking? Is the air conditioning working? Can we lease this space? What's the brand going to be? I mean, we didn't really, to us, like the technology, I don't want to oversimplify, but like it's a box on the wall and then it's supposed to work like the water and that's an oversimplification. We know that now, but really we're just like, and I don't think we realized how important it was to our members that we had fast, reliable internet. Because it just didn't click with us being traditional landlords in the past. They got their own internet and they set up their own server rooms in their custom design space, and they had a vendor. And so for us, it was a huge learning curve. And but I think what you guys were able to do is quickly identify what we had already. Could we repurpose it and use it day one, because we have to operate and keep everyone happy? And then as we started to encounter problems, we're like, oh, we need to make sure that doesn't happen again, because we're not going to be able to scale if every time there's a single internet outage, we're getting email from 20, 30, 50 members who can't work all of a sudden, because everything, this is a relatively new phenomenon, but everything now is on the cloud, and like if everything's on the cloud and your internet's down, you can't get to anything, and then you're dead in the water. It's like trying to dig a ditch without a shovel. You can't do it. So anyway, it's very important. In a way, we are the utility called the internet to our members, and we are providing that service as part of their rent payment. And so if it's not working, it's our fault. Even if it's Spectrum's line got hit by a drunk driver last night, which was one of the occasions that happened in Allen. And I think that's when we started talking about, okay, do we have another way into the building that we could run another line? And what does this bandwidth mean, and how much do I actually get? And there's so many things that go into it. So
yeah, that actually brings up a good point, because when you guys first, I remember when you first came in, you guys were looking at internet redundancy.
Yeah.
And I think I started challenging that, and I was like, hey, so great, you got 2 internet connections, but what if the firewall fails?
Yeah.
And it's like, I didn't think that far out. So now, what if the firewall fails?
Right.
What if the switch fails?
Right.
Like, what happens to that whole user experience?
What if the UPS fails? What if the WAN?
UPS fails? Yeah, exactly. So you brought up a good point, that the drunk driver hits the line and now your entire circuit is down.
Yeah.
Or I think you had lightning strike the building.
That was crazy.
Quite a few hardware pieces failed, but the building was still online, because together, and by the way, this is the moment that I'm proud of, because we work with our clients, we work with our customers to build these innovative solutions. And this solution was built because of you.
I know, thank you.
Caddo.
Thank you.
So
that was a great story. It was just, and I remember I got pictures from your text of like, okay, here's the Ethernet cord and it's fried going into the WAP. And it's just, you could see like clearly the lightning went through the Ethernet cords. And that can be, I didn't know if we were going to be out for days, weeks, months. And one of the things that you guys were able to do is roll trucks and have people on site. And, you do our new construction. So you're very adept at being able to handle the bricks and sticks portion of this. It's not just all floating in the air like, your cell phone service. So there's actual hardware that needs to be maintained. And so you guys, that's the strangest thing. Like, that's the fun thing about real estate. You never know the lightning hit an eagle on the roof, and the eagle didn't shatter, but like it just dropped to the ground, and the eagle was laying on the ground. We're like, oh my gosh, what happened? And we're like, oh, the lightning, and then it just it toasted a bunch of things, and it's a wooden building, and I don't know, it was just there was a lot of concerns, but it all worked out pretty well given the circumstances. So.
Exactly. So we came in, we built this high availability network. We brought in a couple of internet pipes as originally intended. We doubled up. We brought in software-defined networks, SD-WANs, to monitor the circuits real time, to combine circuits. We didn't go passive, active, primary, backup. We went active all the time. So the way that the solution was designed and built was actually really ingenious, because no matter what happened, none of the devices would impact the entire building.
Right.
Now, some of the building may be down, but at least the Wi-Fi was up, majority of the tenants are up, etc. So how did that experience change after, I guess let's talk about the last, 6 and 7 years that you've been with us. There's few occasions is the only ones that were really pointed out.
The best thing I can say that can speak to the last 6 or 7 years is my phone call to your phone call has been very rare.
Okay, there you go. Well said.
And honestly, in a well-designed, well-maintained network, that's what it should be. Yeah. And, we have some tenant issues from time to time, member issues, but they are rare. And I think the system is designed thoughtfully. Like, one thing that I wouldn't have thought about before we came together was, we have these wealth managers and banks and things, IT companies that require, healthcare companies with HIPAA compliance. They need a static IP for their security. Well, if you're in most of the time those IPs are, they are given to you from the provider, from your internet provider. So if you're on a Spectrum and you have an IP Spectrum, fixed IP, static IP with Spectrum, and that goes down, you're out of business.
That's right.
But the ways ours works with the SD-WAN is the static IP is actually above the provision, the cable or fiber companies. And so really, like, most of our members don't even know that. They don't have to think about it. And that's exactly what we want. It's like, hey, it's not an issue here. We see that in our results. Now, we do get times, we had an interesting transition, talk about technology over the last probably 2-3 years. Like, laptops have gotten skinnier and skinnier, so people don't have a network connection anymore, right? And so what we've started to see is, like, our WAPs were getting hit with a lot more traffic. It used to be, we asked our members, how do you connect to our internet? It used to be 50% would use the wire, 50% would be the WAP. And now it's like 75% are using Wi-Fi and 25% are plugging in, because the adapters, they don't have the adapter for their laptop. So, being able to adjust to that, and you guys provided solutions on new apps that were more robust, and that's really helped. And so, I think the most important thing for a business like us is, like, we want to stay in our lane of, we are in the co-working business and we're serving these 1,500 members, and we don't want to be fooling with the internet very often, or the cleaning. It's like, hey, we outsource these services. We want them, you're there when we need you, but otherwise they work perfectly well in the background. We get ahead of problems. That's
that's amazing. Actually, that was a great point on the static IP, because that was a very challenging project. But back to your point on that, typically the IP sat with the provider, so if they went down, the tenant was down. But through this network design, we also learned that, hey, there's another way of doing this, and by just challenging the status quo and saying, well, why can't we do it this way, we figured out a solution that actually ended up not just keeping the entire building up and running, but keeping the tenants with static IPs, those financial advisors, healthcare providers, etc., connected no matter what.
So it's great. And then just all the little low voltage things that we have to do here. I mean, you've got technology in the conference rooms where people can cast their screens. That's very important that be easy and always work. We've got our directory systems, which you could pay a lot of money for, but we figured out how to do that much more affordably just through a Google Sheet.
Yeah, so maybe we should talk about some of the cost savings, because
Yeah.
we built, we started working with together. We took over the first 3 locations. We built 6 already together.
Yep.
Over the last few
the
years.
full tech stack, all the equipment, all the wiring. I mean, the Vivant is able to work with our construction team. We have a general contractor, and the first time I think we bid, I don't think we knew that you'd provided that service, and then the first time we bid, we were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're 50-60% of the cost of the other guys that we bid it out to, and we're like, man, that allows us to build higher quality environment. We could do more art in our spaces. We can upgrade some of the things that you do see and save money on maybe the things that you don't see but are still important. So we've always appreciated, you guys are very budget oriented and conscious, and that requires some creativity, may require a little more design work, but the end result is a great experience for our members and a great experience for us that have to manage that. So
exactly. So let's talk about systems installed in place. What are the noticeable changes that you're seeing?
Yeah. So I mean, it's your service is. I hate to say it's like our janitorial, but the best thing you can do is never hear about it.
Yep. No, I agree 100%. By the way, we've learned that from multiple customers over the last probably few months.
Yeah.
It's the best companies are the ones that you never talk to.
Yeah.
Because the system works.
Yeah, I mean, and you guys have helped us through other people's systems that haven't worked. I mean, we've had door access issues with a particular provider that we have that is our management system that has a door access integration that isn't always up. And when people need to access the building after hours, we had to come up with an affordable Plan B override system. And so, how do our members see it? When we do the solutions like that, where we put a simple keypad, Wi-Fi enabled keypad with a code at the front door that goes around the access control system in a pinch. They call the emergency line. We give them that code. They can get in the building. What does that do for us? Well, it allows us to take an angry customer standing in the rain or the snow or the cold at 10 p.m. on a Saturday night and get them in the building so that they can enjoy their office space. And so, that's enormous, right? Or, just the people that can, every Zoom call that we take that doesn't drop, or every file upload or every, voice over IP call, we all just take it for granted. It's if you look at I saw one of your uptime reports the other day, and it was there was 2 minutes where one of the 2 internet providers this month was offline, and I'm like, I mean, 2 minutes. Isn't that great that we don't have to worry about that? I mean, it's we have plenty of other issues and tickets that we have to solve, and the fact that we're rarely having to solve the technology ones is the best thing I could say about Vivant as a provider, is that they're able to do that for us.
We're on the same page. We never want to hear from you. You don't want to hear from us. I think we're on the same page there. Yeah. That means you're doing your job. We're doing our job.
That's right.
You're building, you're growing, you're making money, we're making money, everybody's happy. But when things do go wrong, obviously. So walk us through how our support team, our team members, what is your experience there with the company, with Vivant?
Well, I think it's been great. I think, one thing I appreciate is we're cautious when it comes to change. So we've got some new ideas around networking and I know that we've been testing that in advance, and we're going to test that in one of our buildings before we roll it out to everyone. And so I think that experience is very much in line with, we don't want to disturb anyone. We don't want to rock the boat. But I would say when issues do come, I think Vivant's highly responsive. There's a clear escalation path that we can get through. The things that worry us the most are things that affect our members, right? That's who's paying us to be here. And so, there are times when there are setups and VPNs and network compatibility issues that, we didn't, and you didn't start the fire on it, but we just have someone who maybe doesn't understand the network system, or has some corporate group 1,000 miles away telling them to do it this way. And those are the most challenging, I think, but you guys handle it well. They don't come up very often, but you just communicate well, you're kind and, straightforward to our customers. And that's all we can ask for. You treat our customers like we want to treat our customers. So like if we're hiring you to provide this service out in an outsourced capacity, you're an extension of Caddo. So we've got to have this vibe check.
Yeah.
And I don't have the fro to.
One of these days, yeah, you could catch up if you let go for like a 12, 13 months, 14 months, maybe 28 months.
So we'll just have to align on business strategy and maybe not on hairstyle choice.
Yeah, no, maybe not. Actually, I was reading this. You mentioned that your most important asset is your clients, because of course they're the ones paying the bill.
Yeah.
And for us, it's the same thing. We say the customer is in the middle. Everything revolves around them.
Right.
So I had saved this quote, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and it says, the customer is the most important visitor on our premises. He's not dependent on us. We are dependent on him. He's not an interruption to our work. He's the purpose of it. He is not an outsider of our business. He's a part of it. We are not doing him a favor by serving him. He is doing us a favor by giving us the opportunity to do so. And I think that's absolutely well said, agreed. And we love these things because we feel like we're a part of your team. We're not the outsiders. We've got these strategic partnerships where you're right, like we're testing these things out months in advance. We're doing a lot of work on the back end, but we just get it done, and it just magic happens in front of it. And having that partnership, having that collaboration to be able to come to you and say, hey, here's what we're thinking. Here's what we've done already. Does it make sense to continue on this path? And some of these things, like this one project, it's going to save like $900,000.
I know,
right?
I know.
So
pretty
the
exciting.
savings are like outrageous.
Yeah.
You're right. It does take a little bit more design work. It takes a little bit more back end work to get creative.
Yeah.
But for $900,000, it's well worth the investment.
Well, it doesn't take any creativity or thought to build the most expensive thing. Any dummy could do that with a big, so I mean, but we live in the real world where people have to make a profit. And, our mission is really, we're creating space for small businesses to thrive. And so that is our purpose. And so like that ethos of like, hey, they're the most important part of this whole equation is 100%. If they're thriving, they're probably leasing more office. They're probably going to outgrow us at some point, but that's okay. Maybe they'll tell their friends about us in the future, but we love it when people outgrow us. I mean, that just means they were successful, and not that anyone here is not successful, but it's just like, we love it when, like we have to have that conversation. Like, we can't lease you another suite. I'm sorry, you're too big now. So
it's amazing to be part of that journey and part of that success and growth.
It's so fun to see for people. So
amazing. Well, thank you so much, Tim, for taking the time to do this.
Great, Hamed. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.